during the season.
And he gets on base a lot because he's a 408 hitter.
Takes a strike, 1-1. Now 2-1.
This team runs a lot. They've got 117 stolen bases and only been caught 5 times. They've also got weird-looking uniforms.
They are different, aren't they?
Yeah. But
Jeff Ryan, the head coach, that broke those out this year. Brand new look for the Cardinals. High chop. Fielded and safe, the call.
That's Dan McKean, who said the first baseman was off the bag. Let's see if we get another look at it.
Reed Tyriver, the head coach at Lourdes, he's going to go out and he wants
help for McKean.
Yeah, he wants help from Paul Feldhausen, the home plate umpire.
I don't know if we can get another look at it or not. But quite honestly, I thought the first baseman came down on the bag to come back, and it's a high throw to be sure. He goes up. Boy, I still think he comes down in time to beat the runner.
I don't know if his foot ever left the bag, and if it did, it wasn't much, and it looked like it came back down in plenty of time.
But our vote doesn't count. So it'll be an error 1, I would think, on a high throw.
All right, so Logan Johnson's aboard, and again, we told you, this team likes to run, and it starts with Johnson. 27 stolen bags on the year. The bunt dropped down by Munson. Tossed the first with Solojinski, the second baseman, covering, and the sacrifice complete.
But that time, Clayman wasn't going to take any chances. He threw underhand to first. So the sack executed perfectly by Munson. And Logan Johnson's in scoring position at second base for Billy Brookshaw, who we talked about in the open.
Goes after the first pitch and up and over the Lourdes dugout. Hit over 500 did Brookshaw. He was voted the District 1 Player of the Year at the recent Coaches Association gathering. And what that means, he's one of 6 players now considered for State Player of the Year honors. That one almost hit him, 1-1.
I would think Nathan McColas of Kenosha Bradford and Kyle Cody of Chippewa Falls McDonald would be 2 other likely finalists. You've got to be a senior to qualify for that award.
Ball gets away. And Johnson down to third.
If I had a guess, Nate Hoffman of Sun Prairie might be in that boat. Anthony Butler, their shortstop's a pretty darn good player, but he was only a junior, so I don't think he's eligible.
Brookshaw, he was a third-team All-State player as a junior a year ago. Strike call, ball popping away from Hetzel momentarily. And among his achievements at Prescott, he set school records for runs scored and stolen bases.
He scored 43 runs this year. Knocked in 31. Infield back, they're going to concede the run.
And chopped foul by Brookshaw. Johnson, the runner at third. He got second life on a call that was ruled an error. Moved over on the sacrifice to second. Now at third after the wild pitch. 2-2 to Brookshaw. Missing, count goes full.
Brookshaw only struck out twice all year in 73 ABs.
Smash, base hit. That's what he does. And it's 1-0 Prescott.
Well, that's what good teams do. They take advantage of really a silly error, a bad call, depending how you want to look at it. But it gives Prescott a base runner. They bring him around, and Brookshaw provides the RBI single with 1 out in the first.
1-0 Cards. Here's Brian Early, the catcher. And there goes Brookshaw. He's not wasting any time, and he's in there. Another stolen base.
31st of the year for Billy Brookshaw. He hasn't been caught yet.
One and one to Early.
Early's a .400 hitter, no slouch himself. He's got a team high 35 RBIs. I would think every time he looks up, he sees Brookshaw on base.
Yeah. It helps pile up the totals. He's a 2-time all-conference catcher. Smash to the shortstop. Monfiles throw in time to get Early.
Monfiles shows good poise there. Brookshaw went back to the bag and might have distracted Monfiles, who booted it at first but stayed with it and made the play to retire the catcher.
So 2 down, and now Jake Hintz, the pitcher, takes a strike.
Hintz a .403 hitter. He's got 24 RBIs.
4-year starter is Jake. Gets plunked. Runners at first and second with 2 down, and the inning continues for Prescott. It'll bring up the center fielder Mike Little. Gaudy numbers for Little, but his impressive numbers are on the hill. He's a 2-time all-conference pitcher this year, where he went 7-1 and an ERA of 1.57, and he's not starting this one.
Hintz is going to get a courtesy runner. As the pitcher, he'll go rest in the dugout. I think Alex Helmer, a sophomore, is going to run.
So we mentioned Little's pitching numbers as a senior because always important at state. If you got that 1 and that 2 that are kind of like a 1-1A that Prescott has, you like your chances. On the mound, that is, 1-1. Little playing center field here in this semifinal contest.
He's one of 8 seniors on this team. Again, a veteran club.
2-1 here. In fact, the team ERA coming in is 1.78. And there's a base hit. Here comes another run. Brookshaw is in. 2-0 Cards. RBI for Little.
Brookshaw has now scored 44 runs in 27 games. That ain't bad.
It's good math for Prescott.
Hey, you talk about their ERA, their team batting average is a collective .368. But then that alludes to the balance you talked about earlier. We told you they can run. They've had 5 home runs, but they can score lots of runs.
Yeah, it's one of those years for head coach Jeff Ryan where you don't just lean on the pitching to carry you or try to outslug your opponents. They've got talent across the board in every department. Brandon Kuiper now, first baseman, with 2 on and 2 down. Missing 2-2. And count goes full. So the runners will be moving here with 2 outs. They're off, 3-2, ball 4, they're loaded. And the 8th man to bat here in the first is Mike Brookshaw, the DH. Chad at the mound, forthcoming for Reed Ty River, the head coach.
Things have not gone well since the first play for Oshkosh Lourdes Valley Christian.
It's their first trip ever to state. 3rd year as the head coach for Reed. In fact, it's the first time they've ever made it past regionals. So it's been a big year already. Trying to keep the troops settled here, though, in Appleton. And now the freshman, Mike Brookshaw, takes a big cut.
Yeah, he wasn't thinking the single there. Or there.
Or there. Down 0-2. Just missed.
I don't think that will endear Kleeman at the plate umpire. He took about 5 steps to the dugout. Not just 1 or 2.
That's momentum, Bill. It just carries your
I think
extra step or 5.
I assume Paul Feldhausen noticed. That is he. Actually, Beacon, the first base umpire.
Yeah, Paul Feldhausen behind the plate.
There's Beacon.
Dan Beacon at first. Todd Krieger's at second. And Mike Feil over at third. Men in blue working this D3 semifinal. 2-2. Slap to the gap. And the outfielders were drawn in, so that'll go all the way to the wall and clear the bases. The young Brookshaw makes it 5-0 with a 3-run double.
Well, the Brookshaws have introduced themselves to him. We talked a lot about Billy. Well, here's Mike. He finds the gap in left center. There's 1, there's 2, and here comes 3 runs in. It's 5-0, and there's a courtesy runner and a lot of applause for Mike Brookshaw.
And again, the outfielders were all in tight. And when Brookshaw put a charge into it, nobody got to that until it went all the way and kissed the bottom of the wall here at Fox City Stadium. So Eric Sandvig will step in. He's the number 9 hitter. Gassed. Had to refuel there after that double. Sandvig takes a strike. That one also a strike. 0-2. Prescott's only losses during the year Green Bay Preble, they fell 3-1. Altoona, they fell 5-3. The other 24 victories were lopsided. It'll come back to the pitcher, but the damage done in the top of the first. Prescott shows you why they're ranked number 1 in Division III. A 5 spot after the first half inning. Back here in Appleton, Oshkosh Lourdes Valley Christian, record of 15-9. They finished in a tie for 3rd place in the Trailways North Conference. And here's their batting order. Let's look at the numbers on the season. And on the mound for Prescott, it's the right-hander Jake Hintz.
5-1 is a 203 earned run average. This is his 9th start. Excuse me, his 9th appearance, his 7th start. Throwing a couple complete games and a shutout. And you can see he's got decent innings or hits to innings pitched ratio. About a strikeout an inning. He's only walked 8. And he's a 5-run lead to work with before he's thrown a pitch.
Yeah, how comfy is that to walk out to the mound and look up at the scoreboard and see your +5.
Jake's a senior, 5'11", 175 pounds.
He will face Jack Danielson to lead things off for the Knights. Pounds a strike to start things off. That'll squirt through for a base hit.
Jack Danielson, the 357 hitter, gets things going for the Knights.
Here's Lance Sobojinski, the second baseman. That one low, scooped by Early defensively. Sandvig is in left, Little in center, and Johnson in right. Seaford over at third, Billy Brookshaw at short, Munson at second, and Kuiper at first. And Early doing the catching of Hintz. 1-1 to Alec Sobojinski. Little looper, base hit to right. So the Knights doing what they're supposed to do when you're down 5, not try to get it all back in one swing.
Yep, perfect answer from the Knights. They get the first 2 base runners on. And now here's one of their big boppers, Robbie Kleeman. Kleeman's a .471 hitter with 3 homers, 3 triples, 7 doubles, and 30 knocked in.
When Robbie's done at Lourdes, he will stay in Oshkosh and play baseball for Tom Lechner at UW Oshkosh. This one hit high in the air, left center, deep, still carrying over the wall, over the Little's head to the wall. Danielson being waved home. Throw comes home, not in time. 5-1, 3 straight hits for Lourdes as they begin the chiseling away process.
Well, this one kept carrying. The wind's blowing out to left, and it might have got a boost because Danielson didn't read it well, and he had the best view of it, better than us. But it carried all the way, 1 hop off the wall. Danielson, though, again, didn't read it well, and he almost got thrown out at the plate. But he wasn't thrown out. He beat the throw. He scores. So Bajinski to third, Klayman to second. A hit here makes it a 2-run game, and there's still nobody out.
Yeah. And the batter is Chris Hetzel. Reed Ty River played baseball at Oshkosh West. His team played a lot of close ball games and a lot of one-run games that didn't go their way. But Reed said that was part of the bonding, the perseverance of this team, that to not get down, even though they were on the short end, they were always competing. Slap to left and deep. Off the wall. One in. They'll have to hold Kleeman at third because wanted to make sure that ball wasn't caught out there. It was not. Hetzel, an RBI double to make it 5-2.
Again, might have been aided by the wind, but this ball's well ahead. Carrying off the wall, and Lytle does a good job getting it in.
Here's Jake Held. This one smoked to left center. That one bounces off the wall. Another run scores. Hetzel right behind. So we're going to have one of these ball games. 5-4.
Wow. Wow. And Jeff Ryan was out of the dugout before the fourth run crossed home. His ball was smoked. Well, so was the last one. That one going, playing pepper off the wall and left. And truly, Ryan was out of the dugout, and the man headed to the bullpen, I think, before that ball came down off the wall. Connor Lausch is warming in the bullpen for Prescott.
And he might want to accelerate the warm-ups because there is still nobody out. And Held with the 2-run double is at second. If he scores, we're back to even at 5 in the first inning. Here's Monfiles, the shortstop. In there for a strike. Monfiles, terrific athlete, terrific hockey player for the Oshkosh Ice Hawks.
Among the leading scorers in the state.
Yeah. Dominant on skates. And a pretty good baseball player, too. Down here, 0-2. Remember that comfy 5-run lead?
Yeah.
Gone. One and 2 to Monfiles. Swing and a miss. Out number 1. Finally for Hintz. Brings up the center fielder, Mikey Hartenbach. He was part of that basketball team that went to state. Hartenbach, Kleeman, Jimmy Brooks. One and 0 to Hartenbach.
Hardenbach just a 219 hitter. Hin's happy to see him in the lineup. The way they have tattooed this right-hander. As a team, the Knights hit 279. You never know that the way this has started off.
Ball 4. Hartenbach aboard. 2 on now with 1 down. And Austin Lose will be the hitter. He's going to see a different pitcher. Change is made.
Jeff Ryan didn't wait long. He makes the switch. And Connor Loesch is going to get some warm-up tosses.
Jake Kintz moves over to third.
Connor's a senior. 6 feet, 165 pounds. On the year, he's 6-0 with a 1.41 ERA. This is his his 10th game, his 4th out of the bullpen. Got 2 complete games and a starter in his, or a shutout in his 6 starts. In 39 2/3 innings, Lausch has allowed 20 hits, 8 earned runs, walked 19, and struck out 32.
He's tied for the team lead in strikeouts. So the stingy team ERA just took a hit.
I'll say.
But the change made here in the first frame.
I'd say Hinz's ERA took a hit.
Yeah.
He had a 203 coming in. He's given up at least 4, maybe as many as 6 runs in a third of inning of work.
Austin Luse, the right fielder, will step in. First pitch fouled back, up and over the screen. And to continue with the athletic resumes, Austin, state champion wrestler for Lourdes this past winter.
Austin's 5'9", 135 pounds.
Drops down a bunt. Toss to first, and they get Austin, but moves the runners over to second and third with 2 down, and Brooks, the number 9 hitter, steps to the plate. So they copy Prescott in sending 9 men to the plate at least in the first inning.
And a single here, and the Knights would have the lead, most likely.
Brooks looks at strike 1. Ball 1 there. Four runs in here for the Knights. 1 and 2 to Brooks. And Prescott, after getting 5 in their half of the first, trying to wiggle out of this first inning with the lead still intact. They do, but it's been whittled down to 1. Lourdes Valley Christian send 9 to the plate. 4 of them cross to the plate. And game back on. After 1, it's 5-4. Hey, look at the numbers there, Bill. It looks like the final numbers in a ball game sometimes, or at least a few innings in.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing those many numbers up in Division III today. After a no-hitter, we saw lots of runs in the first inning of the second semifinal.
And another base hit for Prescott to start the second. Johnson, he reached first on the play that Lourdes thought that they had him at first, but it was ruled the first baseman was off the bag, and that gave new life to Johnson, who eventually came around to score the first of 5. He singles here to bring up Munson, the second baseman, who gets hit. So 2 on.
And Kleeman is really struggling early. There is no activity in the Knights bullpen.
And now Billy Brookshaw drove in the first of those 5 with an RBI single. Stole a base and later scored. Jumps on it to center, but Hartenbach is there. Noisy first out.
Brookshaw's mad at himself, I think. But he got a good swing and was, as you say, a hard hit ball for an out.
1 down with 2 on. And now Brian Early, the catcher.
Hey, rolling here.
1-0 to Early.
Go, rolling now.
Led the team in RBI this season. Opportunity here. Out at second. And maybe a double play, but held the first baseman, couldn't hold it.
Well, you can't assume a double play,
Right.
so I don't believe they'll give me an error to the first baseman. But, boy, that would have made life a lot better for Kleeman. We're going to get a courtesy runner for Brian Early after he beat the throw. Or beat the throw after the first baseman didn't hold the relay. Held has had a tough first 2 innings involving the first play of the afternoon when the umpire ruled he didn't keep his foot in the bag, and right there.
So now Jake Hintz hit by a pitch in that 5-run first, came around to score. Takes one low. Another one low, 2-0. Reed Tyriver, the Knights coach, made note that his team committed only 2 errors total in the 5 playoff games. Played very clean baseball. Terrific hop right to Monfiles. who makes the play in stride, and Prescott puts a 0 up on the board. That means the Knights are back at the plate, trailing by 1. Bottom 2 with a first inning that featured thrills and chills and spills and lots of runs. 9 runs total in that first frame, and then Prescott unable to push across any runs in there after the second. So back to the top of the order for the Knights: Danielson, Sobojinski, and Kleeman.
Saw a couple of the ball boys. Takes a lot of volunteers put on a tournament like this. Big kick for those ball boys to be a part of it.
You get to keep the fancy neon t-shirt, so
I know, I wish I had one.
That's worth it. Oh, I'll hook you up. Yeah, those are a little big in the boys anyway, so
yeah, well,
might fit you. Danielson fights it off, foul. Danielson started the Lourdes Valley Christian onslaught in there after the first. He singled and scored the first of 4. They jumped on Hintz, the starter, who is no longer the starter. Reaches out, bloops one into center field for another base hit.
No, he's 2 for 2.
And now Sobojinski, the second baseman, also singled and scored in the first. Squares tried to toss down the bunt, pushed foul.
Get you caught up on where we are in this tournament. This is the second of 2 Division III semifinals. Earlier today in Division IV, Coleman beat Pittsfield 10-3. Johnson Creek bumped off Greenwood 8-5. Greenwood was unbeaten and number 1 in the state. So tomorrow at 9, Coleman will play Johnson Creek for the D4 title. In Division III, Parkview beat St. Mary Central 2-0 on a no-hitter by Jamison Lavery. First, he struck out 10, retired the last 17 in a row. And Lavery, very impressive. So Parkview will get the winner of this game. And then coming up tonight, and now we have to say probably about 6:45, Fox Valley Lutheran will play Portage in a Division II semifinal, and Ellsworth will play Racine St. Kate's, the one-beaten favorite probably in Division II. That game will begin, what do you think, 9:15, 9:30?
Yeah, ish.
Probably. Anyway,
9-ish.
The 2 semifinal winners in D2 play tomorrow at 3 for the D2 title. And in D1 tomorrow at about 6 o'clock, in Bayport and top-ranked Sun Prairie will play to conclude the tournament and championship Thursday.
Yeah, as we found out with Greenwood being unbeaten and ranked number 1, it doesn't mean anything necessarily here. Prescott, they have 2 losses on the year, but we've already tossed out some of their dominant numbers to put them in the number 1 ranking in Division III. But the Knights answered back almost all the way back with 4 runs in there after the first. Sobojinski continues to battle here. Continues to battle.
And again, what confidence Coach Tyriver has in his starter Clement. He's been cuffed around pretty good, and there's no bullpen action at all. Giving up 6 hits in 1+ innings.
In the air, back behind second. Brookshaw calls off Munson and makes the grab, 1 down.
Or Cleveland's giving up 4 hits.
Yep, 4 hits.
Excuse me.
It's hard to keep track,
Oh, it
Bill.
is.
It's been 10 hits total,
Now,
9 runs total, and we're only in the bottom of the second.
but Tyriver's never wavered and had a guy up.
No. Like he almost knew the offense was going to step up to the dish and pump out those 4 runs. Kind of gave new life to Clement. He had an RBI double in the first. Two and 1 here. Danielson, the runner at first. And they rule that one foul. Just foul. Kicked up some chalk on the way to Kuiper, the first baseman.
Connor Lausch is the second pitcher already for Prescott. Hinn's only retired 1 batter before Lausch came in.
2-2 on the ground and into left field for a base hit. Clement 2 for 2. Danielson at second, 2 on, and now Hetzel the catcher. Hetzel followed Clement with his own RBI double. Prescott dugout, they're motioning, positioning the outfielders. Loesch floats one in there for strike 1. Took something off of that one too. 0-2. Ahead of Hetzel. Two on with 1 down. Base hit that gets down and right. They'll hold the runners. Bases loaded with Knights. And Jake Held will step to the plate. He popped a 2-run double in that 4-run first.
Station to station baseball there. Again, it's early. Kind of tough to remember that. And so many hits. But held to the chance to put the Knights ahead.
On the left field line, should push foul, and it does. Clemens at third. Hetzel at second. Held at first. No, I beg your pardon. Jumping the gun. Held at the plate.
Had a couple pretty good swings, though.
Yeah. It's Danielson at third, Clement at second, and Hetzel at first. Jake held 0-2. 1-2 now. Goes down and tried to shimmy it down the third base line. Stays alive here. With the bases loaded, looking for a pop to the gap here. And the Knights would have the lead after falling behind 5-0 before they ever got to the plate. One and two to the Knights' first baseman. Here it comes. Strike three called. Second strikeout for Lausch. He came on and got the number 9 hitter in the first to end that first inning in relief. 2 down here, and now Monfiles the shortstop. That one just on the other side of the third base bag. Monfiles was a strikeout victim in the first. It came against Hintz. Knights are ready with 8 base hits. Make it 9. Tied at 5. Throw comes home, not in time, and the Knights lead 6-5.
They got their first lead to go with those 9 hits. And wow, after watching pitching dominate the last game, it's a good old-fashioned slugfest. Hanging breaking ball, and Montpils puts it into center. Strong throw here, but it's going to be a little late, and the Knights have the lead.
Wow. And Prescott, who was so impressive in the top of the first offensively, sending 9 to the plate, getting 5 runs. They have got to be frustrated. A long way to go, only the bottom of the second, but
a long way to go.
Here's Hartenbach now, who walked in his first AB. And a little cat and mouse going on between pitcher and hitter. Both runners go. Throw goes to third, and not in time. Ball popped out of the glove of Hintz. So a double steal puts runners at second and third. kind of a page out of the Prescott book.
I was going to say, Lourdes Valley Christian not known to run as much as their adversary, but they show that they can do it too.
1-1 to Hartenbach. Reaches out, taps it. Oh, look at that. Brookshaw, no bother. Monfiles, little acrobatic get out of the way move there. Brookshaw made the play, but Prescott back in the dugout and now trailing this one 6-5 after 2. Now the scoreboard is flip-flop from a 5-0 lead for Prescott in their half of the first to a 6-5 lead for the Knights as we begin the third. Bob Brainerd and Bill Brophy with you.
This has certainly been the most hitting we have seen in any game of the tournament. And this is game, 6 yesterday and 4 today, so it's our 10th game. And the wind has picked up, so anything hit out toward left field right now should get a boost. We've seen it on some balls, but boy, there's been a lot of balls tattooed to left field. They didn't need help from the wind.
Mike Little starts things off for Prescott here in the third. Little, Kuiper, and Mike Brookshaw. Swing and a miss. 1-1. You talked about having the confidence to leave Clement out there on the hill. But should probably also point out that down 5-0 to the top-ranked team, a dominant team all year like Prescott, Knights never flinched.
No doubt. And Clemens seems to have appreciated the vote of confidence because he's retired 4 in a row.
Yep. Lytle down looking, 1 up and 1 down, and now Kuiper the first baseman. Yeah, they did not look intimidated, scared at all after being bombarded with that 5-run first. And it's their first trip here.
Well, Parkview didn't seem to be too intimidated.
They didn't either.
No.
Not at all.
Certainly Jamison Lavery did.
No. What do you need, a no-hitter?
Yeah.
To play again? Okay,
yeah.
Sure. And we found out later that wasn't the first time he's thrown a no-hitter.
What is this, 3rd in 4 games?
Yeah. So that's no big deal, right?
Could have said there's a few more people in the stands.
Right.
Bigger stadium. But other than that,
business as usual.
Oh, by the way, it's only been done 4 times in the history of the Division III tournament.
Right.
And 14 times in the history of this tournament, which now is, 65 years.
Kuiper takes the walk with 1 down and brings up Mike Brookshaw. Brookshaw had the big blast in that 5-run first. He cleared the bases with a 3-run double. This is Connor Lausch. And Connor gets a little squib base hit. Close at second.
Nice piece of base running by Kuiper because he was truly in no man's land here. You'll see it in the replay.
Connor Lausch, who came in to pitch, hitting in.
Oh, in the DH spot.
The DH spot, yep.
Lausch again. You can see Kuiper didn't know he was going to catch that ball, and now he's got to scamper to get to second base. And bunt is foul.
Don't know if there's anything wrong with Brookshaw. They just wanted to make that move offensively. It worked there with Lausch getting the single. All right, so 2 on with 1 down, and now Sandvig, the left fielder, takes one inside and upstairs, 1-1.
Lausch a 286 hitter, Brookshaw a 290 hitter, so it's about the same.
Hey, talk it up, Red. Pick him up. Here we go.
2-1 to Eric.
Hey, go right at him, Fiver.
Checking signs with Jeff Ryan down the way. 23 years as the head coach at Prescott. I beg your pardon, 14 years at Prescott, 23 overall.
Fiver, come on, big guy.
Won 246 games at Prescott, though.
Yep. He was a UW Eau Claire graduate. Count is full on Sandvig, the number 9 hitter. And ball 4.
Boy, you wanted to get him the way Logan Johnson has hit Clement today. This is his 3rd AB in 3 innings, and he's already, well, the first inning was determined to be an error, but he laced a single in the second.
And back to the top of the order in Logan Johnson, who has a terrific on-base percentage.
Alec, in 2.
Close to 600, so he finds ways. Might not be as fortunate right here. He is not. Held in foul territory, makes the grab. Big out there, 2 down.
He gets through the infield.
Base is still loaded.
Keep the runner on second.
And it's up to Munson, the second baseman, to try to do something here.
Boy, I think Logan Johnson liked that pitch back. You better get a pitch to drive, but the base is loaded.
30. Let's go.
1 out, they're conceding you the run. They didn't play the infield up. But, yeah, don't get do-overs.
Hetzel, a quick chat with Clement. Knights got the lead with 2 in the second. Like to keep it for a moment. Fouled off by Derek, 1-1.
And for those of you tuning in expecting the Division II semifinals like Jay Wilson,
What were you thinking?
this is a slugfest, folks. And the game scheduled to start at 6 in Division II between Fox Valley Lutheran and Portage. Will start about 6 Los Angeles time.
Yeah, that ain't happening. 2-1. High chop. Pushes foul. 2-2 to Munson. Base is loaded with Cardinals.
Hey, win the battle, Fiver. Hey, let's go, Red. Talk it up. Come on, let's go, Red. Hey, here we go now, Robbie. What do you say? Get us out of here. Get us in there.
Prescott looking to regain the lead. The 2-2. Chopper in play this time. And it gets past Monfiles. 2 runs will score. Prescott back on top.
Well, I think Brooks cut in front of Monfils and distracted him. Third baseman, you'll see it on the replay. That's a big play, though. And in a game where we think there's probably a few big plays left, but you'll see the third baseman cut in front of the shortstop right here, and that distracts Monfils, who doesn't make the play. 2 runs come in to score, and the lead is seesawed back to the Prescotts. Cardinals lead 7-6.
We'll call it a hit. Give Munson 2 RBI. Yeah, all the traffic in front going on certainly didn't help the cause for Monfils to make a clean play.
And now here's Billy Brookshaw.
Brookshaw, RBI single back in the first, stole a base, scored a run.
Still hitting over 500.
Pitch out.
I think there's a play on.
Yeah. Munson has a huge lead at first, and he still hasn't gone back. And he's daring the Knights to throw there and take his chance and let Sandvig then try to score from third.
Well, again, Prescott must have practiced that play. You're still 117 bases. You're constantly pressuring the defense. And Munson again daring him to throw over there.
Now they got him picked off if they want to go that way.
Again, I think he wanted to be picked off.
Yeah.
That's actually a stolen base.
Even with 2 outs, they want to get in the rundown there, let the run score, and if you get tagged out, so be it. But then you saw Held, the first baseman. He held the ball. Looper, right field. If it's fair, it's trouble. It pushes foul. But Held, you could see when the play was over, he looked back at the infield and said, that's okay. Better that than try to throw the ball around and give up another run. And they see the numbers that we see, and they know this team is dangerous on the base paths. Crafty, too. Hetzel keeps it nearby, 2-1. Bouncer. Gloved by Monfils, but no play, and the run scores from third. Sandvig in. 8-6 Prescott.
It's a nice play by Monfils to keep the ball in the infield. Probably saved another run, but it's an infield single for Brookshaw, his second RBI. Sandvig scores, and it's another crooked number up on the board. Now it's a 3-run inning.
And now early the catcher. 0 for 2, but a dangerous cleanup hitter here.
And look for Brookshaw to run.
Yep. Runners at the corners. There he goes. Throw into center field. And that's exactly what Prescott wanted the Knights to do.
Hetzel made a good throw. Monfils loses his footing, and the throw goes into center field. Brookshaw starts, then stops, and you can see Monfils loses his footing, and the ball goes into center field, allowing Munson to score from third, and they manufacture a run. That's an E2 on Hetzel.
One and one to Brian Early.
Oh, they're an irritating team to play against.
Even when you think you guess right, your instincts backfire.
Hey, Fiver. Get us out of here. Come on, bud.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Clement has now given up 9 runs and 7 hits, and there's nobody even remotely stirring in the bullpen or in the bench.
Nice spot, Robbie, nice spot, bud.
Count is full on early. Brookshaw at second with 2 down. To right. Lourdes makes the catch. However, Prescott had the lead, lost the lead, 4-run third. They've got the lead again, up 9-6 in the middle of the third. My scorecard is messy, so is Bill's.
Sorry, we can't help it.
The graphics are messy. 9-7-0 for Prescott through 3. 6-9-2 for the Knights as they start the third inning. And Austin Lourdes is the batter.
Chris Hetzel is now throwing in the Oshkosh Lourdes Valley Christian bullpen. Hetzel's normally the catcher, or has been the catcher.
Swing and a miss by Lourdes. Mentioned that he was there. You see the bullpen beginning to stir, as they say. Lourdes, the hitter, state champion wrestler. This is his first year playing baseball at any level, ever. And he picked up the game quite nicely and quickly. Came up with some clutch hits in the sectional final against Deerfield last Tuesday. So not only deciding to play the game, picking it up, but contributing in big situations. 2-2 here.
Kind of a neat story.
And from wrestler to baseball player too. That's
Most 5'9", 135 pounds. Lots of different size guys can play this game.
Mm-hmm. Stays alive here.
Knights need base runners, but in this game, you got to figure going to be a few more scoring chances.
Yeah, the ebb and flow of this thing has been crazy. With Prescott getting those 5 in the first and then watching that dissolve as the Knights got 4 in their half. That one foul. They got 2 more in the second to take the lead. And Prescott bounces right back and smacks a 4 spot in there after the third to regain the lead.
And the beautiful thing about this game, as you know, Bob, is there's no clock.
You're going to find that out tonight about 1:30 in the morning when the day is done, right?
Just telling you, that's the beautiful thing about baseball. Unlike other sports, there's no clock here.
It's a beautiful thing. Tick tock. 1 out. Good battle by Lourdes, but he bounces out to the pitcher, and now Brooks, the third baseman, struck out to end that 4-run first by Lourdes Valley Christian.
So as we ebb and flow, picking up on your theme.
We are ebbing and flowing, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
There's no clock to dictate the pace of the ebbs and flows.
You've mentioned that there's no clock.
Yep.
Because there's no clock, we may need lights to finish this one.
And they have provided those for us here at Fox City Stadium.
Well then, no worries.
You may see the light towers on the field as the shadows grow.
Yeah.
Right field will become a sun field here for about the next hour. Right side of the infield will also be tough to play. And then the ball hits as the sun sets and the lights come into play.
2-2 to Jimmy Brooks. Ball low, count goes full.
Bausch has gone through the order once. He came in with 1 out in the first and got Lourdes in a sacrifice and then struck out Brooks, and he does it again.
2 down. And back to Jack Danielson at the top of the order. Jack's been a problem for the Cardinals. He's 2 for 2, singled twice, scored twice.
And hit the ball hard twice.
Yes. Takes a ball. And he's 3 for 3.
And this is only the third inning. He started the 4-run rally in the first with a line single to left, started the 2-run rally in the second with a single to center, and there he's on with 2 out here in the third.
Sobojinski now 1 for 2. Takes a strike. Well, the ERAs are taking a hit on both pitching staffs. Batting averages are going to get a healthy boost. Everyone's hitting today. And Sobojinski joins him, gets his second base hit. Last 2 hitters, they haven't hit it that hard necessarily, but just finding a home in the green.
And look here, the tying runs at the plate again. And Robbie Clemens 2 for 2 with a booming double. He scored 2 runs. In fact, the top 4 guys in the Lourdes lineup are now, wow, 9 for 10.
Wow, indeed. Ball 1 to Robbie.
And again, we're in the third inning with 2 outs, and they're 9 for 10. Tells you a lot about this game.
Launches one to left. Little says, I have it, and Sandvig calls him off and gloves it for the final out in the third. Knights strand 2, get nothing in the run column after 3. Our score is 9-6.
address is also provided in the ad in the state tournament program. Again, that website is www.bywias.com.
Back here at the yard. Hope you like offense.
Oh, we do.
Speaking of ebb and flow, we go from one Division III semifinal where Parkview pitcher tosses a no-hitter, and now we've got good old-fashioned slugfest.
15 runs, 22 hits in the first 3 innings.
Brooks backhands, not in time. Did a good job to knock it down, but Jake Hintz beats it out for a base hit, and we start this thing all over again. First hit of the day for Hintz. And now Little, the center fielder.
Funny you say that, because the only guys without hits in the Prescott lineup are Eric Sandvig, the number 9 hitter.
There's a ball that gets away from Hetzel.
And Brian Early, their cleanup hitter.
Which is strange in itself. Early, one of their top hitters as well, the cleanup man, and they've retired him in his first 3 ABs. But Little's got a hit in 2 trips. Monfiles backpedals, nice play to retire Little. Hintz stays put at second, 1 down. And now Kuiper, the first baseman. Brandon has walked twice, scored twice.
He knocked in a run with one of those walks as it came with the bases loaded.
Brandon, a second team all-conference selection out of the Middle Border Conference. And that ball gets away from Hetzel. Yeah. Chris Hetzel, frustrated, flung off his catching gear, his helmet, and pounds his mitt when he goes back to retrieve it. Not happy with the results here, letting 2 balls get away and putting another runner, Hintz, in scoring position. Suicide squeeze. Scores the run. Kuiper out, but mission accomplished. Makes it 10-6. You almost knew that was coming. You know it's in the
perfect
strategy book.
Execution there. That's a suicide. Puts the pressure on Kuiper to get the bunt down. He does. And Clement throws him out. But the 2 wild pitches or pass balls, depending how they're judged, come back to hurt the Knights. They mess you up enough with their speed when they're manufacturing runs. They don't need your help. And that's why I think Hetzel was so upset.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. I mean, when they got the runner over with those 2 misses from Hetzel over to third, it's almost like they said, all right, you're going to give us those. And now we'll squeeze that run across. Terrific execution. And again, the suicide version, because the runner was coming. If there's no contact made, he's a dead duck. Strikeout by Lausch, but another run tacked on for the Prescott Cardinals. Their lead back to 4, 10-6, middle of 4. Back here in Appleton, 10-6.
That's the Prescott folks, is it not? They've got a pretty good contingent here.
They do, and they have it's a long haul from Prescott, which is up along the Minnesota border in western Wisconsin. Chris Hetzel, 1 pitch, 1 out, flying out to Little in center. Lourdes Valley Christian here in the Fox Valley area. Pretty short trip, right up 41. Here's Held, the first baseman. High chop, pulled down by Hintz, and a cannon throw across the diamond for out number 2.
2 pitches, 2 outs, and we haven't seen that much in this game. In fact, we haven't seen anything resembling that. This would be the first clean inning if Lausch can get Monfiles. And you would think Monfiles is going to take a pitch here.
He does for a ball.
Monfiles looking for the 4-run homer to tie the game with no one on.
Hintz tested again. Tag applied. Well done on both ends. Hintz, the slow chopper, made the play, the strong throw. Kuiper off the bag with the tag. 1-2-3 inning for the first time in this ball game. Sends down the Knights. 4 complete. It's 10-6. The numbers after 4 is the 5th inning has arrived. 10-6 ball game. Fireworks display by both Prescott and Lourdes Valley Christian. Sandvik trying to bunt his way on. He's on. Tight quarters over there with Held and Sandvik. And the ball got there about the same time and scored it away.
Well, Jimmy Brooks did a good job anticipating this. But as you say, his throw got there about the same time as the runner, and they're going to give Brooks an error.
And back to the top of the order, which means trouble for the Knights. Logan Johnson.
And again, I don't think you're going to see Prescott change anything. The running game. They pressure, and pressured you. Trying to add on. Long way to go in this one, as we've seen.
They hit and run. And everybody's safe.
That's what happens when you pressure the defense. Normally sure-handed players make errors, and that is the 4th one of the night for Oshkosh Lourdes.
It was right at Sobojinski. If the runner isn't moving, then Sobojinski probably makes this play. Maybe gets a double play out of it, but yep, you can see, looked up. And then had to change his mind, shift gears, tried to go to first, didn't have the handle. And the damage done, everybody's safe. And a settle down moment on the mound for the battery and the infield.
Oshkosh Lourdes has just been out of sync from the first play. If you remember, a comebacker to the mound, Clement threw high to first, Held went high up, and the umpire ruled he didn't come down before the runner. They ruled the runner safe, and from that moment on, they just seemed to be out of sync. They certainly came back after spotting Prescott 5, got 4 in the first, 2 in the second to take the lead, but they just haven't seemed to play well. And that's 4 errors, a couple either wild pitches or pass balls.
Here's Derek Munson. Sales behind him. Of the previous 26 games played by Prescott, they hit double-digit runs in 12 of them, nearly half. They've got 10 so far today, so that's 13 now in 27. And threatening to pile on more here after that wild pitch. Puts runners at second and third. So back-to-back errors, now the wild pitch.
That's at least 4 errors or wild pitches / pass balls. Well, it is 4, depending on how you want to rule the 2 last inning. So 4 errors, 4 wild pitches / pass balls, and 8 hits. Infield in.
And ball 4. A walk loads it up for Billy Brookshaw.
And again, this is a 500 hitter. Got 2 RBIs today, and he's 2 for 3. Infield's going to snuff out the run at the plate, I hope.
Base hit. A run in to make it 11-6, and the bases remain loaded. Brookshaw just does not waste any time. His 3rd RBI.
Going up there looking fastball, and with the infield in, that is a run-scoring single, and that may be it for Clement.
And he'll flip the ball to Reed Ty River.
And Reed's going to try to cheer up his senior. Hetzel's going to come in to pitch. He's taking the catcher's gear off. Ty River with a word of saying to Clement, you know, you had a good year. Don't let this ruin it. He certainly was cuffed around today. Gives up at least 11 runs, and the 3 guys on base are his responsibility. And Robbie Clement leaves. Gave up 9 hits. Hit a batter, walked 2. And again, or hit 2 batters and walked 2. Walk 4. Gotta have. Again, my scorecard's such a mess, it's tough to decipher. Tough outing for Robbie Clemens, no matter how you put it. And now you will see the catcher go to the mound. This is Chris Hetzel on the year. 4-4 with a 192 earned run average. This is his 10th game, his 3rd out of the bullpen. He's thrown 3 complete games and a shutout as a starter in 47 1/3 innings. Chris Hetzel's allowed 34 hits, 13 earned runs, has walked 35 and struck out 55. So control has been a problem for Chris Hetzel.
And I know this isn't a first. We've seen this before at the high school level where a catcher comes in to pitch, but
And
I don't know. I don't know how a kid does this.
I agree. Clement goes behind the plate too, by the way. Isn't that 5?
Yeah. So Hetzel gives up the tools of ignorance and will try to stretch out and find a way to slow down and quell this potent Prescott offense.
No, I agree with you. I mean, it's such a arduous position to play catcher. I mean, you wear all that equipment. You're involved in every play. You're getting nicked up. Throw the ball back to pitcher every play. You're gunning base runners down. I mean, so it's, and then you got to go out and ask them to pitch with 3 innings left, try to hold your team in there. And Prescott threatened to break this one open here with 3 on, none out, a run in, and a 5-run lead.
Well, when the Knights were able to, told you how they didn't flinch after being down 5 in the first inning, came back, got 4 in their half of the first, and then actually had the lead when they got 2 more in the second. Got to give Prescott credit, too, for all the lopsided games they've been in. They really haven't been in situations like this where a team jumped on them after they jumped on them from the outset. But what the Cards have done was stay the course. They went right back out there and continued to do what they do, keeping the pressure on, getting men on base, having guys come through with clutch base hits. They've done a suicide squeeze. They've double steal.
Yep. No, they continue to pressure the defense. Brian Early, their leadoff or cleanup guy, who's one of 2 players in the lineup without a hit.
The 1-1 upstairs, 2-1.
Hey, come on, Chris. Balance out there, kid.
Early's grounded out twice and fallen to right.
Now he has the hit. And an RBI. And the bases stay loaded.
Again, with the infield in, it makes you a better hitter. Hits the ground out in a normal inning, but not with the base or with the infield in. Instead, it gets by Sobojinski into right field. We're playing station-to-station baseball right now because why take chances when you're up by 6? Early is replaced by a courtesy runner. Alex Helmer again gets some playing time.
So the bases are still loaded with nobody out. And now Hintz, who started on the mound, is playing at third base and doing a terrific job there.
He scored twice today with a hit.
1-1 to Jake. Lifted up and over the screen. Foul. 1-2. Chopper rolls foul. And everybody resets on the base paths. Lourdes is actually out-hit Prescott 11-10. Yet they're down 12-6.
It's been that kind of game.
Yeah, another crazy number.
Hey, here we go, Fred.
When you look up at the line score. 2-2 to Hintz. Cut through it. Down on strikes. First out here in the 5th.
Middle back. Middle
First
back.
strikeout for Hetzel.
Alec, middle back.
And now you move the middle infielders back and hope you get a double play ball to get out of the inning. If you're Oshkosh, Lourdes, and Valley Christian.
Here's Little, the center fielder. Takes one upstairs.
Corner infielders are still, well, even with the bag.
Right there.
And you hear the defensive instructions being shouted out from the dugout.
That ball gets away from Clemens this time, and another run will score as Munson comes home. 13-6.
And that means the double play opportunity vanishes as well. So the infield, you would think, will have to come back in. It does.
Go, Fred.
2-1 to Little. Again, remember, Little's a two-time all-conference pitcher who went 7-1, had an ERA of 1.57. If they can keep this lead intact and not have to use him, they've got a pretty good arm there available for the D3 championship.
A nice thing to have in your back pocket.
You bet. 3-1 to Mike. Tapper out in front. And they'll make the play to first to retire Little. 2 down. And Kuiper gets a shot here. 8th man to bat here in the 5th. They sent 9 to the plate in the 1st inning. Sent 8 to the plate in the 3rd inning. Lifted foul.
Kuiper doesn't have an official at bat, yet he's driven in 2 runs. He's walked twice, once with the bases loaded, and put down a squeeze to drive in a run in the 4th. That was last inning.
Brandon fights it off. 1-2 now. Seventh trip to state for Prescott. 1994, they won it all. Runners up in 88 and 99. Two and two the count. That one got a piece of just about everybody. Now it's full. And another one like that would load them up again. Again. Kuiper.
Kuiper really works the count.
Yep.
He's done a nice job. And first 2 ABs and the last AB, he got a suicide squeeze down on the first pitch.
This one in the air on the infield. Brooks makes the catch. And the 5th inning is over for Prescott, but 3 more runs added to their total. Bumps their lead to 7 in the middle of the 5th. Part of the crowd still sun splashed. Part of it in the shade. Yeah.
Beautiful day.
Terrific.
And you might as well be at the ballpark on a beautiful day like this. Quite honestly, a lot of people already here anticipating the Division II semis having started.
Mikey Hartenbach starts it off with a bunt for a base hit and tries to fire up his dugout.
Knights need base runners and they need to be fired up. Their body language says they are not too fired up, and that's what Hartenbach attempting to do. Nice bunt. He's on, and that breaks his streak of 4 in a row retired by Louch, who's pitched pretty well, given some semblance of order to a game that's lacked it.
This one hit well by Loose, but right to Sandvig and left, 1 down. That was the 12th base hit by the Knights. And again, most of it coming in those bunches in the first 2 innings.
Louch has allowed 7 of them, but only 2 runs.
And again, the reason he came in is you've got
Gintz couldn't get anybody out.
Yeah. But they don't want to. They want to try to have him hold the fort here with this big lead once again and save Mike Little for tomorrow. Mike Little, I beg your pardon. Here's Brooks, the third baseman, 0 for 2 with a pair of Ks. Straight up, straight back, and into the crowd.
Happy Prescott fan.
That one a slicer back to the net. .351 students at Prescott High.
I'd say at least half of them are here.
Yeah,
you?
well, I went and looked at the number because they have a terrific turnout.
They really do.
For being a D3 school that's all the way across the state.
And that's kind of the beauty of Division 4 and 3. We saw this morning at 8 o'clock, I think the village of Pittsville was here. A really amazing turnout for an 8 a.m. game for a town as small as Pittsville. For that matter, Coleman was well represented as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Coleman has had such athletic success and lots of sports this year. I think it was a bigger deal for the people of Pittsville. And again, at 8 in the morning, Abner Doubleday did not mean for the game to be played at 8 a.m.
Not a fan. Not a fan. Brooks continues to battle, and the AB continues 2-2. But the flip side of that is they play at 8 a.m. and they play into sometimes the wee hours of the morning with the lights on, so that all these youngsters can get a chance to play on this field at every division level.
No, you're right. And the only way to complete the tournament in 3 days is to play 6 games each of the first 2. We'll have 4 tomorrow, all title games, beginning at 9 o'clock with Division 4. Coleman will play Johnson Crick in that game. And a Division 3 title game about noon, we'll have Parkview against, right now it looks like Prescott. And at 3, the Division 2 title game, and Bayport will play Sun Prairie at 6.
Brooks bashes one off the bottom of the wall and left. Hartenbach held up at third. Brooks with a booming double.
Brooks has struck out the first 2 times against Louch, but he gets all of this one, and as you say, it hits the base of the sign. That's a long way away. And the Knights have something going here in the 5th.
Good looking swing there. Good extension by Brooks.
And now the top of the order, where Lourdes Valley Christian have lit up the 2 Prescott pitchers.
Yeah, and this guy, Jack Danielson, 3 for 3 with 3 singles and 2 runs scored. Want to know to Danielson?
First 4 hitters, and the next 4 hitters in the Lourdes lineup, 9 for 12 today.
Yeah, this is potent offense.
They have scored 6 runs.
Two and 0 to Jack. Jack and a lot of his teammates, part of the Lourdes football team that went deep into the playoffs this past fall. Game away from going to state there. So this baseball team is loaded with athletes.
Not going to roll over.
Yeah. They've all been in pressure cooker situations. You've got state wrestling champs, talented hockey players, football players who almost made it to state. It's nothing new for these guys. They've been in this position before, just with different equipment on. And a walk there loads the bases.
And again, Lourdes knows they need to chip away. Here's Sobojinski with the bases loaded and 1 out. He's 2 for 3 today as well.
Bounced up there.
Prescott needs outs. They're obviously looking for a double play ball and will give up runs to get outs.
There's a strike, 1-1 to Alec.
Sobojinski recognizing his team needs base runners, taking until Louch could throw a strike.
He's singled twice in 3 at-bats. Another bouncer, 2-1. Caught by Brookshaw. Throw to third, almost doubled up the runner there, Hartenbach. But if that gets past the glove of Brookshaw, 1 for sure, maybe 2.
Billy, I want you to play the pull bar, okay?
But the good extension here.
That's a nice play, and then he almost completes the double play. Athletic play by a good player. Billy Brookshaw shows you he can do more than just hit.
2 down, and Clement up there. Now catching. Takes a ball.
And if you're Lourdes, you got to score here. Again, with all the gamers they've got and the good athletes, only 7 outs left. You got to put some points on the board, as they say.
Yeah, bases loaded. You cannot waste an opportunity like this. Down 7. 2-0 to Clement.
He's 2 for 3, and the out was a loud one. Long fly ball to left.
Three and 0. Hetzel on deck.
Almost stolen out there. Kuiper acted like he thought they had him, but I think Danielson got back in time.
It was dangerous. Dangerously close. How deflating would that have been?
Very.
For the Knights. Instead, ball 4 and a run walks in to make it 13-7.
Kuiper's second RBI, Clement's second RBI at the game.
Courtesy runner Brett Bayman, a senior, will head out to second base. He'll run for Danielson.
Hetzel at the plate, 2 for 3 with an RBI. Hetzel gets a single. Things get a little tense in the Prescott dugout.
Hetzel again. Ian Clement flip-flop. Hetzel started this one behind the plate, now on the mound. And Lausch having some issues coming up short on his pitches. There's a strike, 2-1. Jake Held is on deck if Hetzel connects here. Roller to Brookshaw. Goes the short route. Side retired. They give up a run, but only a run, and the Knights leave the bases loaded. 5 complete. 13-7 our score in this D3 semi. It's the top of the 6th. 13-10. Number 1 ranked Prescott over Oshkosh Lourdes Valley Christian. And the Cards back to work, trying to pad that lead here in the final innings. Lausch leads it off, then Sandvig, and the top of the order, Johnson. Cardinals have been out-hit 13-10, but they've manufactured runs. They've had some clutch hitting, and the Knights have helped them by committing 4 errors. And that's how you have a 6-run lead, even though you're out hit by 3.
Ouch at the plate, 1 for 2.
Strike 3 called.
His pitching night may be done too, judging by the fact that Billy Brookshire and Clay Seifert are both throwing in the bullpen right now.
Here's Eric Sandvig. Sandvig has been on twice. Once via a walk and another time on an error, and scored both times.
He's the only lad without a bingo, bango, bongo.
That's it?
Yeah.
Everybody else? Okay.
Yeah.
And 3-0.
But as you say, he scored 2 runs, so it's not like he's had a bad night.
Strike there, 3-1.
Seifert and Brookshire have quit throwing it, so maybe it means either they're ready or they're loose enough to come in.
Second walk taken by Sandvig. Flips the lineup card over, and Logan Johnson once again. This is his 5th AB.
And we're only in the 6th inning.
He's reached 3 times, once with a single, twice on an error. This one to center. Hartenbach is there to make the catch. 2 down. And now Derek Munson, the second baseman. 2 RBI for Munson. A single, scored twice. Hunter picked off, and that's the end of the 6th. 13-7 our score here in Appleton. Oshkosh Lourdes Valley Christian down by 6, bottom of 6. Jake Held leads it off. I think the game plan here, Bill, would be it'd be nice to get 6 back here to tie it, but try to get something on the board here. Try to make the bottom of the 7th a little more manageable.
Like last inning, they need base runners. They got the base runners last weekend. Or last inning, they just didn't bring them in. They only scored once and left the bases loaded. In fact, they have left 9 on through 5 innings, and that's kind of an overlooked stat in a, let's face it, a sloppy game with lots of hits, lots of errors, and lots of runs. But Knights had their chances last inning to do just what you said, chip away at that lead, and they failed to come up with a big hit.
The 1-2 to Held. Swing and a miss. 1 up and 1 down the 6th.
And they had their big boys up there to do it, too.
Yep.
At least the guys who've been good for them all year and then all day today. And again, Lauch is not going to get the Fireman of the Year award. He's going to get the win if he hangs in there, but he has provided what Prescott needed, and that's some eating of innings.
Yeah, again, they got Little waiting in the wings. If they hang on here to provide some strong arsenal on the hill in the championship game tomorrow. Monfiles takes a strike, 1-1.
Lauch came on with 1 out and 4 in the first and gave up 2 runs in the second as Lourdes took the 6-5 lead.
Bouncer back over the mound. Munson handles it at second, 2 down. They bring up Hartenbach, the center fielder.
But he has pretty much shut down the Knights' attack since the second inning, and his teammates have come alive offensively to give him a 6-run lead here with 2 out in the 6th.
Here's Mikey. By the way, regardless of the outcome of this game, the Knights head coach, Reed Tyriver, he's got something to look forward to this summer. Getting married, Bill. Tying the knot.
Congratulations to Coach.
Filling out a new lineup card at home.
Who's the lucky girl?
It doesn't say. Which is too bad because you and I would have gone in on a nice toaster or something.
I agree. I think he's a fellow UWO grad, is he not?
He is, yes.
I think I remember the Ty River name from our softball days. I think his sister played for Cindy Cease's softball club.
Look at that throw. Not in time, but Brookshaw kind of showing you his range at short. Aired it out, and Hartenbach beat it out, but watch this throw by Billy Brookshaw.
Okay, this is a nice play at any level. Goes in the hole, and this is when a shortstop shows what he's got. Wow. Nice play. The head first slide did beat it. I think it might have caused Hartenbach to get hurt, unfortunately.
Yeah, he ate some dirt.
And jammed a finger. He's okay.
And now Austin Luce will step in with 2 down.
We talked about how Sandvik's the only guy in the Prescott lineup without a hit. This is the only man in the Oshkosh lineup without a hit. It's been that kind of game.
Yeah. And again, you go back to the sectional final win over Deerfield. To get here, it was Austin who had the go-ahead 2-run double that sparked that win over Deerfield, 7-4. Not bad for a kid who's playing baseball, a junior, for the first time in his life. He made his mark on the wrestling mat, a grappler. That one just, I mean, inches away from the fair side of the third base bag. Watch how close this one goes.
I think he thought he snuck it in there.
Yeah. Tight quarters, just foul. This one, fair to Hintz, side retired. 6 complete, and the 7th inning is finally here. 13-7 Prescott.
Can you guys not hear? Can you only hear me screaming? You can only hear me. That's why the middle infield is Derek and then Billy got to do
It's the 7th. Prescott up by 6. If they need it, they can try to pad their lead here. And in a game like this, you might need it. So Munson will go back and get a reset at the plate. Remember, he was there when they picked off Sandvig over at first to end the 6th. And you talked about how these long games have drawn out now into the evening session. You've got the folks from nearby Ellsworth, purple clad. Some of the players and some of the fans, they're here watching Prescott, cheering for the Cardinals. Same conference, right? Middle border.
Yep. Again, if you're tuning in expecting to see Fox Valley Lutheran and Portage, that game will begin 35 minutes after the conclusion of this one. And we are out of the prediction business.
Yeah. And Ellsworth, they'll be playing the West Coast game tonight.
Yeah, Ellsworth against Racine St. Cat's. 35 minutes after the conclusion of Fox Valley Lutheran and Portage. So that could be the late game. That will be the late game. No good about it. Again, earlier today, Coleman beat Pittsville 10-3 in Division 4. Johnson Creek upended and upset number 1 ranked previously unbeaten Greenwood 8-5 in Division 4. Coleman, Johnson, and Crick will meet at 9 tomorrow for the D4 final.
Now you just said Johnson Creek, then you just said Johnson Creek. Which is it?
I've said it both ways. Johnson Creek.
I know.
It is?
Which is it?
It's Johnson Creek.
It's 2 E's.
It's Oak Creek, we determined it. It's
right.
Johnson Creek.
Says who? The folks at Johnson?
I thought that's what we determined this morning.
Who determined that?
Those of us who covered the Division 4 game.
Should we ask Dennis?
Yeah, he's
from that
vote.
neck of the woods. Johnson Creek or Johnson Creek? Creek, right. It's 2 E's.
Anyway, they're playing tomorrow at the Division 4 title game against Coleman at 9 o'clock.
Don't avoid the subject here. That one squirts under Brooks at third. And Billy Brookshaw is on again. The runner goes to third. Brookshaw goes to second. And yes, that pad may happen here.
See how they roll this. Well, it was pretty hard hit. Skipped under Brooks and into foul territory. That enabled Munson to go to third, and when they made a play there, it's going to be an error 5. So Brooks gets an error. That is the 5th error on the Knights. And here comes the infield in again as Brian Early hits, and that's my wrap-up of the preceding games.
Thank you, Bill.
We'll do it again later on.
Sure.
Get everybody up to date.
I'll canvass the crowd, try to find somebody from the Johnson Creek or Creek Metroplex and see what they say.
Love the outlet ball there.
Oh, yeah. I'm close by. I spent a lot of money there.
Are you doing the game with me tomorrow? You got D4?
Nope. No, that's Jay Wilson. And that's Jay's viewing area, too. That counts in the Madison area. So if he says Creek, you got to follow the lead.
You're right. I always go with my play-by-play guy.
Right. That's a strikeout for early. And the first out here in the 7th brings up Hintz.
And he didn't go too far.
Have we talked about the uniforms yet? I think we did in the first inning, but that was a long time ago.
There have been a few runs scored since.
It broke those out this year, and they are different. Got the thick stripes, and then the part I like are the burgundy-colored pocket flaps on the rear end.
You've always been my fashion police.
That really is that's really the difference maker right there. I mean, the Prescott, the stripe down the front where the buttons are with Prescott. That's kind of old school. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
The pocket flap, that's different.
I'm going with distinctive. Because you'll get me in trouble if
I'm not saying I hate them.
I know. I'm
just saying distinctive.
Let's go on with distinctive.
And they got they pull the socks up and
that's a good look. They score a lot of runs.
Yeah, you do what these guys have done, and you can.
Every time I look up, there's somebody on the bases.
Right.
I know that with their pocket flaps showing.
And you see that the socks are up high. Jeff Ryan, he's going to come down and have a chat here. He doesn't have the high socks pulled up, so he's the guy in charge.
Reed Tyriver is going to the mound, and I don't know if this is a speech to encourage his pitcher or to make a pitching change. But the bases are again loaded.
Mike Little will be the hitter with nobody out. It's a good look at those unis. At first blush, when I first saw him in the game program, I was thinking Rockford Peaches.
I know.
From the,
a League of Their Own.
League of Their Own. That's.
Tyriver going to stick with Hetzel. And Little will hit. He's 1 for 4.
And again, this holds up for the Cards. Expect to see Little on the hill tomorrow against Parkview in the D3 final. Takes a strike there.
Prescott has had a lot of base runners. 6 walks, 2 hit batsmen. They've had 11 hits. Oshkosh has made 5 errors. That adds up to a lot of activity in the bases.
A
lot of flaps running around.
Yeah. Good way to put it. They have made a fashion statement, but a statement on the scoreboard as well.
Did they have an alternate jersey that they could bring out for the D3 title game?
I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe something in a nice wool button down.
I don't know.
Kind of along the lines of in the Babe Ruth era.
The infield is no longer in. They've gone back to double play depth after the visit to the mound by Coach Tyriver. Well, you were continuing to critique the fashion of Prescott.
2-2 to Little. Slices it foul. I promise you this. I'll be talking to Jeff Ryan before the game tomorrow, if they're in the championship, and ask him about the backstory here on the uni.
I look forward to that. I look forward to your visit.
I'll find out if there is an alternate look. Count is full. And I mean this is, in all sincerity, I wonder if this is something that was back in the day, Prescott baseball in the early days. Maybe they saw something in a yearbook and kind of modeling it after that. Might be a
first time they've been here since '99.
Harken back to the early days of Prescott baseball as Little goes down on strikes, 2 down. I'll bend Jeff Ryan's ear on all that.
Well, good job by Hetzel to come back and get Little.
Base hit up the middle by Kuiper. A run in. Cut off, 2 in. Makes it 15-7.
That's 4 RBIs for Kuiper. And it's been that kind of day. I think Robbie Clement thought he had a play at the plate. The throw came through. If the throw came through, but Hetzel cut it off. Well hit ball. Here's a strong throw. And it's going to get cut off by the pitcher. And I've just added to a very frustrating day for Clement and Hetzel.
Yeah, and you can see that pitch from Hetzel right there. Just frustration pitch, almost threw it away. Yeah, he's overthrowing now, and
it's not throwing in anger, quite honestly.
Nothing left in the tank either.
4 RBIs for Brandon Kuiper. The Brookshaw boys, Billy and Mike, have 3 each.
And Mike had 1 AB, cleared the bases, and had a seat. So, not sure if that was by design or something happened that didn't want to take any chances or re-aggravate an injury or not. But he tacked on the last 3 runs of that 5-run first. 2-2 to Lausch.
And
it was actually a 3-2 pitch, beg your pardon.
When Sandvik comes up, this will mean the entire batting order will have had 5 plate appearances, and that should tell you how many opportunities Prescott has had today.
This is the
8th 7-inning game.
Yeah, 8th man to bat here in the 7th. And that's the 3rd time they've sent 8 to the plate. They sent 9 to the plate in the first. It's like lining them up in the batting cage, and the next guy gets the token and goes in, and then got to feel like that today for the Knights. 2-1. Two and 2. Go, 16-7 on the wild pitch.
And I believe that is the 5th wild pitch of the night.
At least. Three-two, and a strike called.
Well, Eric Sandvik is the victim of what happens when you go through that batting order 5 whole times. You better be up there swinging.
Bottom of 7, 16-7 the score. Well, bottom of the 7th in a crazy game, to say the least.
There's the line score, and that'll tell you how crazy it's been.
Yep. Oshkosh Lourdes Valley Christian out-hits this powerful Prescott team. 14-12 so far, but commits 5 errors. They were able to erase a 5-run first by getting 4 back in their half of the first. Got 2 more in the second and had the lead 6-5. And then Prescott got back into form with a 4-run third to take a 9-6 lead, and they haven't let up since. 1 more in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 3 more in the top half of this inning. Jimmy Brooks, then Danielson and Sobojinski are scheduled.
And a ball is loose. When equipment is on the field. Umpire takes care of that.
So barring a 10-run explosion here, Prescott will play in the D3 title game tomorrow around noon. They'll play against another first-time visitor to state, Parkview Vikings,
who got a no-hitter from Jamison Lavery.
Brookshaw, 1 out. Jack Danielson, the hitter.
This is a good shortstop. Backs up, and he shows off his gun right there. Piper bails him out with a nice stretch, but Billy Brookshaw has everything as advertised. He'll be in the title game tomorrow. And again, we've had both extremes here today with an exciting no-hitter, only the 4th ever in Division III history, the first in 7 years in the tournament. As Parkview beats St. Mary Central 2-0, and then in the Slugfest, Prescott shows they can score and run, and they got a lot of weapons offensively.
And a base hit, the 15th of the night for Lourdes Valley Christian.
Danielson's got 4 hits. Been on base all 5 times.
Yeah. There's Sobojinski. By the way, Brookshaw, when things wrap up here in Appleton, he'll be playing down the road in Oshkosh at the Wisconsin Baseball Coaches Association All-Star Classic at E.J. Schneider Field.
Usually the last weekend of June.
Yep. Chance for all the talented players around the state to get together and have a little round-robin tournament. Get their last licks in.
Be interesting to see if the Phillies sign Kyle Cody, McDonald's Central pitcher, who was picked, I believe, in the 33rd round. He's scheduled to go to Kentucky if he doesn't sign with the Phillies, or if the Yankees sign Nate McCullis, who they picked in the 3rd round out of Kenosha Bradford. He's scheduled to go to Louisville if he doesn't sign. It'd be nice to see those kids in that game if they are here. You certainly get the impression the Yankees may sign McCullis the way they treated him like a China doll after they drafted him. McCullis did play in the state tournament. He didn't play in the sectional tournament.
And then it was one and done.
Yeah.
After all that back and forth decision making, as Sobojinski walks.
But McCullis and Cody were the 2 high school players drafted this year in last week's free agent draft. Sobojinski walks, and don't look now, but the Knights have 2 on with 1 out. And this is Robbie Clement, who's whacked the ball over the yard tonight. I think they're getting Jordan Hansen an opportunity to get in the state tournament box score.
Yep, senior.
Eric, give him a step. Back a little bit.
There's
Give him
Eric.
a little bit. Back a little bit.
And now Clement started out as the pitcher, finishing as the catcher. At the plate here with 2 on, takes a strike.
He's 2 for 3 as a hitter with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored.
Swings and misses. 0-2.
Said that breaking ball got a piece of his arm or his jersey. Lost the argument.
High in the air, shallow right. Johnson makes the catch. 2 down. And last gasp for the Knights, Chris Hetzel.
Prescott faithful whooping it up. It's been a long game, and they finally get a chance to celebrate a win, it appears.
Brookshaw snags the liner, and that is the ball game. Now, say what you will about the funky uniforms.
We'll get a chance to talk about them again tomorrow.
Absolutely. Impressive on the field. They won it 16-7 for my partner, Bill Brophy. And all the guys on our crew. Bob Brainerd saying so long from Time Warner Cable Field here in Appleton. The final numbers once again. Coming up next in about 35 minutes, Jay Wilson and Bill again as they kickstart the Division II semifinal action here in Appleton. Good night, Wisconsin.